If you thought you were good at hide and seek, watch this.
This is definitely the most mind-blowing, out-of-the-box 1,000-person hide-and-seek competition ever held on a school campus. 1,000 students from the entire school have all become hunters, searching for 8 players. Just how incredible must their hiding skills be to escape the eyes of 1,000 students? The player who lasts until the end will win a million-yuan prize. Otherwise, the prize goes to the students. Super long speed bump. Data usage warning. Progress bar nodes have been set, so you can choose which parts to watch. Player number 1, Shuchuan, goes all out right from the start. He had a stone tablet custom made in advance, planning to present it to his alma mater. The stone's grain and craftsmanship are both quite exquisite, and his name is even carefully inscribed on it. Placing it on the lawn near the main gate, hiding inside gives an incredible sense of security. Who would ever think that someone could hide inside a stone? Player number 2 is Akiyama.
You have to check.
This time he's sticking to his old tricks, deciding to take advantage of his petite build by putting on a
I feel like this is some next level hide and seek, guys.
School uniform and disguising himself as a female student. He blends in with a group of hunters, running around the vast campus with them, searching for prey. Player number 3, Soshina, plans to hide in the library. He intends to modify the lower shelf so he can conceal himself inside, then place books and props on top to hide his hiding spot. With so many books in the library,
like, yeah, damn, you gotta be super precise about how you're gonna be searching for them, you know?
Searching through them one by one would be quite a task. Player number 4, Kikuta, also doesn't plan to take the usual route this time. He intends to secretly hide inside the wall in front of the art classroom. By extending the protruding part of the wall a bit, he can create a space big enough to fit himself. He'll use a poster on his wristband as camouflage. It's practically flawless. What new tricks will player number 5, the atmosphere maker Matsuo, come up with this time? His plan is to squat in the corner and transform himself into a short iron tree. Of course, he has to show his handsome face, so there's really no other way. He'll just have to disguise himself as a coconut. Wow, an iron tree growing coconuts? You'd have to have 2.5 years of brain clots to come up with something this wild. Player number 6,
you can see him. You can see him.
Bed at the entrance of the gymnasium. A single flower bed might look a bit lonely. Adding another one shouldn't be too much, right? The huge space
but it's suspicious. It's suspicious.
Inside easily fits him without any trouble at all. The master craftsman recreated the flower bed's material and texture exactly, so from the outside, you couldn't spot a single flaw. Player number 7, Gangbu, chose a spot behind the sink. He sealed off the recessed faucet area and hid himself in the gap, trying to pull off a perfect disguise. At first glance, nothing seemed out of place at all. Player number 8, Zuan, picked a gap next to the fire hydrant. By sealing it up, he created a hiding spot for himself. Compared to the previous designs, this one seemed even more reasonable, and it's unlikely anyone would notice such an inconspicuous corner. All 8 players have finished hiding, and the 10-minute search period for the first half is about to begin. 1,000 eager middle school students rushed out of their classroom, launching a thorough search across the entire campus. Who will be
Well, let's see who they're gonna find.
the first player to be eliminated? Akiyama brazenly blended in with the students, running around aimlessly.
Let's
Soon
see.
the first wave of hunters arrived at the other players' hiding spots as well. However, everyone was just taking a cursory look and not checking carefully, so the players were temporarily safe, except for Matsuo, who was clearly too conspicuous. Anyone with eyes passing by here would be able to spot him. Without a doubt,
You can clearly see him.
Eliminated. But for him, it was all about participating and having fun.
Of course, see? Yeah, he was too obvious, come on.
The search continued, and as they passed by some modified spots, the students didn't get suspicious. It seems the players' disguises were really convincing. Meanwhile, Akiyama, who was enjoying the spectacle,
yeah, but then, like, if you are in nature or whatever, like, you're on top of grass and you're a rock, whatever, they're gonna test it. They're gonna see if they can move anything or whatever.
Became even more brazen. The students seemed to notice that this wall had been tampered with. Soon more and more people gathered. At this rate, even if Kikuta grew wings, he wouldn't be able to escape. Very quickly, the students found a breakthrough and tore down the disguise poster in one swift motion. The second player, Kikuta, was also eliminated.
They found him.
You really can't choose a spot that the students are too familiar with. Any small change will definitely catch their eyes. The student team was now much more confident and became even more diligent in their search. Over at the library, a student actually touched one of the prop books, giving the person hiding inside quite a scare. Fortunately, it was just a false alarm.
She literally touched the book and did not even sense that, no, it was a fake book. Wow!
At this point, you really have to admire Akiyama, who was playing the role of a girl. She was relentless in her search, and her acting skills were truly impressive. Just then, a male student ran straight toward Ishikawa's hiding spot. Could it be that he was suspicious of the stone monument?
Oh shit, he's coming for you.
Ishikawa was exposed from inside the stone monument, narrowly missing out on the $1 million prize. It turned out the male student noticed an extra
I told you about the rock
and grew suspicious. When he knocked on it, both the texture and the sound seemed off, which led him to discover the trick inside. I have to say, these students really are something. The students continued to search every suspicious item, not even sparing the 2 big lion statues. By the flower bed with leaves, groups of students passed by from time to time, yet no one noticed that there was an extra flower bed here. At the spot on the north bank, a student was checking the fire hydrant, but failed to notice the gap next to it, so this spot remained safe.
Yeah, literally this close.
The first half's 10-minute search was about to end. Something happened over at the library. Two girls seemed to notice that the books on the lower shelf were a bit too neatly arranged. When they took a closer look, sure enough, it wasn't that simple. The contraband inside was
they found him!
just like that. You really have to
God damn it! I expected not.
As the first half was about
I
to
expected
end,
more of that guy.
remained as steady as ever, and Chushan was also safe and sound under the cover of the girls and the face mask. There was still a steady stream of people passing by Yezi's spot. At this moment, a male student seemed to take an interest in the flower bed. After tapping it and noticing something odd about the set, he began looking for a breakthrough. Seeing this, another student nearby stepped up. Inside, Yezi sensed that her time was up. Sure enough, with so many people working together, the flower bed was quickly toppled and Yezi was eliminated. It turned out that thanks
damn! Even the guy in the plant, they found him. Damn! These high schoolers are finding them really quick, though.
To the male student's careful observation, he noticed that the workmanship and the color of the seams on the flower bed were a bit off. The first half of the search finally came to an end, with 5 players already out. It seems the students' abilities should not be underestimated. Will the remaining 3 be able to hold out until the end and win the grand prize? After a short break, the students resumed their search mode, determined to catch all the players in one sweep. The prey who have lasted this long are not playing by the usual rules. Even the sewers aren't being overlooked by the students.
Yeah, nothing is being overlooked. They will check everything.
Anything unusual. Meanwhile, Chushan is still actively searching on the front lines. At that moment, several people walked over to the sink together. After knocking on it, they discovered it was actually hollow inside. Soon, a group of students surrounded it, and Gangbu inside was under immense pressure, but no amount of struggle could change his fate of being eliminated. Only 2 prey are left, still holding on with great effort. No one expected Chushan to be able to last this long in the enemy's territory. Bayan's modifications were extremely reasonable and well executed, making his position as steady as ever. The students wandered around aimlessly like headless chickens, having no clue about the whereabouts of the prey. Because of the sweltering heat, Chushan recklessly took off his mask and started fanning himself. With his distinctive looks, he was immediately recognized by the boys. Isn't that just giving himself away for nothing? He was unfortunately eliminated before the search time ended.
He literally gave himself away, you know. Even though it was hot, he should have kept that mask on because that was his only saving grace.
Congratulations to Bian in the Wall for becoming the final winner and taking home the $1 million prize. The second round of the competition took place at Utsunomiya Poplar High School. Player number 1, Nagase, chose a spot in the life skills room. Showing creativity, he planned to hide inside a box of sushi. The students had to peel away each disguise, and only after the last layer could they see his true identity. You can't say his plan wasn't clever. Matsuo, who likes to show his face, took a different approach and planned to disguise himself as a cabbage. After all, with such a huge vegetable garden, it's impossible for the students to check every single plant, right? In the end, if you don't look closely, you really can't tell there's a person there. Player number 3,
you can tell.
Tanaka, set his sights
all
on the
these hideouts.
Don't worry. He hollowed it out and modified the cabinet below, so he could hide inside without anyone noticing. If someone turns on the TV, they'll get a surprise. Player 4, Kikuta, and Player 5, Akiyama, joined forces to fight together. Kikuta wore his leaf ghillie suit and hid among the leaves in the train car, while Akiyama disguised himself as a janitor, sweeping them up. You have to admit, this strategy of forming alliances and helping each other is pretty effective. Player number 6, Soshina, went big and built a small house behind the garage. Has gotten
she went big
these days? Fortunately, there are quite a few little houses like this nearby. As long as you lift this vent, you can see his handsome face. All the players have finished hiding. 850 students ran to every corner of the campus, and the players' hiding spots faced their first wave of hunters. During the initial sweep, students took a quick look without searching deeply. Unexpectedly, several students wandered through the vegetable garden. Matsuo,
he's gonna be the first one.
Was not in an optimistic situation. At the 5th minute, a girl who almost stepped on his face finally spotted Matsuo's big
she almost stepped on his face.
Green face. Matsuo, the mood maker of the group, also became the first player to
I told you, the first one. Those hideouts don't work.
At this moment, a group of girls came to the back of the car and started rummaging through the leaves, scaring Kikuta so much that he didn't dare to move. The next second, the girls, unwilling to give up, actually picked up brooms and started sweeping vigorously. With this momentum, it seemed there was no way for Kikuta to escape. Sure enough, he was quickly discovered and was eliminated in the 8th minute. While everyone was distracted by Kikuta, a girl who had been quietly observing on the side walked straight over to the busy Akiyama. This time, Akiyama didn't even have a chance to run. Unexpectedly, both of them were caught.
Goddamn!
At this moment, Suhin in the cabin remained extremely calm. As for Tanaka, although the students were very interested in this cabin,
oh no, if they turn on the switch.
Meanwhile, a large number of students swarmed to Nagai's hiding spot. Finally, someone noticed the cabinet under the sushi box, but it was already locked and couldn't be opened. Many students also came to Suhin's spot, and some started checking the ventilation duct. Suhin, still calm, was eating an orange inside, but soon he vanished. Someone had found a clue at the back window and caught Suhin off guard. Meanwhile, more students on Tanaka's side were investigating the TV. The TV to make a gap. A student wanted to test if the TV could work normally, so he pressed the switch, and unexpectedly, there was a
they found him right there.
Meanwhile, Nagayori, who was hiding in the sushi box, kept holding out. And to his surprise, even after the search time ended with so many people around, no one thought to open the sushi box and take a look. Congratulations to Nagayori for becoming the final winner and receiving a 1 million reward.
Damn, even hiding in food and shit. Like, god damn. Next level hide and seek, guys. Next level.
This round of the hide and seek challenge takes place at Rooming High School, which covers an area of 40,000 square meters. Player number 1, Tanaka, took an unconventional approach right from the start, using branches to make a jungle ghillie suit that looked almost indistinguishable from the real thing. This ghillie suit was meticulously crafted by a skilled female artisan, and Tanaka instantly transformed into a mobile tree person. He chose to hide in a corner of a flower bed.
They're gonna find him so quick
that no one would notice an extra plant had appeared there. Player number 2, Akiyama, set his sights on the office printer. As long as he emptied out the internal components, he could create a space just big enough to hide himself inside. Although he would have to curl up tightly to fit, the printer's exterior would remain almost unchanged. Plus, many students were unfamiliar with the office area, so his chances of success
they're not that high.
Player number 3.
They're gonna find him very quick.
An extremely clever hiding spot. He planned to create something out of nothing at the art room.
Just like him too. They're gonna find him quick.
Himself to hide inside it.
I do not underestimate them kids anymore because they will check everything. This is not safe.
It was actually quite ample. The ink marks painted on the pillar were also a very detailed touch. Player number 4, Shupan, set his sights on the school's vending machine, planning to hide inside and hand out drinks to students. To do this, he went to great lengths to replicate a vending machine at a factory, sprayed it with mud to make it look authentic.
Yeah, no, they're gonna see some shit.
Team managed to get inside smoothly. Let's hope he doesn't give himself away when students come to buy drinks. Player number 5, Kikuta, firmly believes in the old saying that CTs never look up, so he planned to hide on top of the gymnasium. Normally, only staff members can access this spot, so the production team stipulated that he couldn't be completely hidden. Kikuta simply painted his entire body white and brazenly sat up there, overlooking everyone below. Player number 6, Maruyama, found an inconspicuous corner of the gym and sealed it off with wooden boards to create a hidden space. He then hid inside, trying to pull off a perfect deception. It still looked a bit suspicious at first, but after adding some unused chairs and other items, it blended in perfectly. Player number 7, Matsuo, who loves to show his face, insisted on revealing his handsome features again this time. So, he found a poster, cut out the main character's face, and then aligned his own good-looking face with the hole, keeping a forced smile that didn't quite.
It's not gonna work. You can see it.
If you weren't paying close attention, you probably
you can see it. You can notice.
All 7 players have now finished hiding. As the countdown began, 1,900 students happily poured out of their classes. The search time is 20 minutes. Playing on their home turf, can they catch all their targets in one go? Very soon, the areas near several players' hiding spots were overrun. Judging by the situation, Matsuo, who's showing his face, could be out of the game any minute now. Unfortunately, the girls nearby didn't have the sharpest eyesight. Just when it seemed like he might get away with it, a student with normal vision finally spotted his handsome face at a glance. In just 2.5 minutes, Matsuo from the Atmosphere team was the first to be eliminated. At this moment, people were
betting on the guy in the bushes.
But no one noticed that there was an extra pillar by the sink. There were quite a few students in front of Soshina's vending machine as well, but after just tapping it a couple of times, they left. Upstairs in the gymnasium, Kikuta was overlooking the crowd. And finally, a student on the second floor balcony remembered to look up. Even though he had painted himself the same color as the background, Kikuta was still completely exposed under the eyes of so many students, and just like that, he missed out on the 1 million yen prize. The students' enthusiasm was at an all-time high. There was a constant stream of people passing by Soshina's flower bed, but no one thought to rummage through the flowers and plants inside. In Gangbu's art room, quite a few students were rummaging through boxes and cabinets. One female student even knocked on a pillar.
Yep, they're gonna find him too.
He nearly lost his composure, but she didn't notice anything unusual. Meanwhile, things weren't looking good on Soshina's side either. A male student passing by noticed something fishy After all, he was a regular here. When did an extra machine show up?
They found him.
The 3 of them opened the lid to take a closer look. Soshina was completely unable to resist and surrendered without a fight. You could say that students playing on their home turf definitely have the advantage. No change in any corner of the school can escape their eyes. On Maruyama's side, a student glanced over but didn't notice anything suspicious.
What?
On the other side, Tanaka's position was...
Come on, that's gotta be easy one.
3 girls
the guy in the bushes
seemed to be suspicious of this spot, so they immediately stepped forward and started rummaging through the branches. But it seemed like she didn't notice anything.
She didn't see him
inside and turned to leave. However, Soshina thought he had already been discovered and moved suddenly, startling the girl. Wasn't that just
he gave himself away?
Nothing? What a shame. With such a good disguise, if he hadn't exposed himself, he might have.
He did expose himself.
Now only 3 prey are left struggling on the field. Finally, 2 girls noticed the printer, but were distracted by Soshina suddenly barging in. At this moment, a boy walked over and casually lifted the printer's lid, leaving Akiyama with nowhere to hide. As the second half of the search began, it became a showdown between 2 players and 1,900 students. Can they hold out for 10 minutes and win the 1 million yen prize? At this point, Maruyama's situation was already extremely precarious. A boy had been searching around here for quite a while other passing students just glanced over and left. But he seemed unwilling to give up on this spot, even lifting the cover. Strangely enough, he still didn't find Maruyama, probably because his eyesight wasn't very good.
Probably because his eyesight was not very good.
The production team was all very surprised to witness this scene. Maruyama managed to escape this ordeal unscathed. There were quite a few people in the art room as well. A boy was rummaging through boxes and cabinets but found nothing. Everyone was wandering around aimlessly like headless chickens. No one had any clue where the 2 targets could possibly be hiding. At this moment, a key figure appeared. A girl majoring in art started feeling around the pillar from top to bottom. Hearing the commotion, Gangbu was extremely nervous. The girl kept exploring the pillar, trying to find a way to crack it. After discovering a gap, she immediately asked a nearby boy for help, and together they pried open the cover of the pillar. Now, even if Gangbu had wings, he wouldn't be able to escape. With his capture, only Maruyama was left struggling to hold on. Although his hiding spot seemed weaker compared to the others, he had managed to last until now. Can he win the million-yuan prize? Things aren't looking too optimistic. Two boys seemed to have noticed something unusual in the corner. They kept rummaging through the clutter and even climbed onto the railing. Maruyama's situation was already extremely precarious, but they only checked the items outside and never thought someone might be hiding inside. After all that effort for nothing, they hurriedly left. Maruyama felt confident this time, and the production team finally breathed a sigh of relief. With only 3 minutes left in the search, the students had scoured every nook and cranny of the school, but still found nothing. At this moment, a third group of students arrived at Maruyama's location. They often came here to get equipment and were very familiar with the layout. They went straight for their target, moved the chair aside, and lifted the cover. Finally, in the last minute, Maruyama was regretfully eliminated. Congratulations
they found
to the
everybody,
students for achieving the
goddammit.
final victory and winning the 1 million yen prize. The fourth match took place at Osaka Fuse High School. Player number 1, Gangbu, attended this school during his middle school years, so he is very familiar with everything here. He noticed an old warehouse next to the playground. The bundle of tug-of-war hemp ropes had been modified into a secret room just big enough.
All I see in this is if you're trying to hide in a bush, does not work. If you're trying to hide your face into a veggie or a pot or whatever of flowers, it does not work. If you're trying to hide as something exterior a little bit to like the walls and everything, they will find you. But if you hide yourself like even in the walls, that's when it becomes difficult. Because even when you think, oh, I'm gonna hide into plain sight, I'm gonna sit over there like up high, I'm gonna blend in with the colors, they will find you.
To hide his small frame. He even casually placed some ropes on the frame as camouflage. Player number 2, Jutian, plans to take a different approach this time and try something new. He intends to sneak into a corner of the school swimming pool, and before entering the pool, he plans to paint his whole body blue to blend in with the water. Let's just say the idea is great, but breathing is a big problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem.
Player number 3, Kyuden chose a spot in the sewing classroom. He swapped out the table that holds the sewing machine so he could hide inside the table and pull off a clever trick. You'd only find him if you opened a specific machine cover. Gotta say, that's a pretty crafty move. Player number 4, Tanaka, set his sights on the cafeteria's meal ticket vending machine. After enlarging it by one size, there was enough space inside to hide. From the outside, it looked almost unchanged and could still sell meal tickets as usual. The main idea was to catch people off guard. Player number 5 is Matsuo, who loves to show his face, and of course this time is no exception. Ordinary hiding spots like the library no longer interest him. He plans to transform into a Windows icon and hide inside the duty teacher's computer screen, so that the beautiful teacher will be staring at his handsome face while working. This will be a real test of the teacher's ability to keep from laughing. Player number 6, Akiyama, found an inconspicuous nook in the school. By extending the wall of an abandoned storage room outward,
yeah, it's not gonna work. They're gonna find you too.
Slipped inside without anyone noticing. He believes that no one usually pays attention to this remote corner. The next player is special guest Miyagi. He was also once an athlete at this school, so he is very familiar with the corridor next to the gymnasium. He placed 2 misaligned small storage boxes in front of the camera. At first glance, it doesn't look like a place where someone could hide, but there's actually a clever trick inside. Player number 8, Nakamura, set his sights on the school's multimedia classroom. By making a few modifications to an inconspicuous corner behind the stage, he was able to hide himself there. Although this solution isn't particularly ingenious, he believes that very few people would notice the changes in that corner. All the players have finished hiding. At the command of the dean, a large-scale game of cat and mouse is about to begin. The students pour out of the classrooms like a tide, each one beaming with joy, as happy as if they were on holiday. The search time is 20 minutes, and soon the first group of hunters arrives at the players' hiding spots.
I am telling you, they're gonna find them all.
Look, doing an initial sweep without searching carefully, so the players are safe for now. Kikuta in the pool really couldn't hold his breath any longer and secretly surfaced for air. Fortunately, he was in a corner and wasn't spotted by the students passing by. It has to be said, he's really going all out.
He got lucky.
At this
He
moment,
got
a few
super
students
lucky.
arrived in the corridor where Miyagi was hiding. Since he chose a spot familiar to students, it did not take long for one to notice 2 extra lockers by the faucet. Now, even if Miyagi had wings, he could not escape. The 3 students were
they found him
happy they started
quick!
jumping up and down. Just 4 minutes into the search, the first prey was out of the game. He could only blame himself for choosing such a typical hiding spot. There were quite a few people in the library, and the teacher on duty remained calm even with Matsuo's big face right in front of him. You really have to admire his acting skills. At that moment, a boy walked over and glanced at the teacher's desk.
Of course he sees
seemingly
it.
not noticing
No,
anything
he didn't
unusual.
see it.
Just as he continued searching while crouched down, 2 girls behind him, who had normal eyesight, finally spotted Matsuo's handsome face.
Who had normal eyesight. Literally the presenter of this video, guys, he's literally bashing them left and right.
Without a doubt, the atmosphere maker was eliminated in a flash. There were also quite a few students coming and going in the cafeteria. Two girls passed by Tanaka's spot, but only glanced casually and didn't linger. Just as Tanaka thought he was in the clear, the two girls suddenly doubled back. Since they often used the ticket machine, they were very familiar with it. On closer inspection, the ticket outlet seemed a bit different. Was there something fishy going on inside? Who would have thought that with just a gentle touch, the door would open?
That was
The
it?
third target was also eliminated. Afterwards, the two girls said that they became suspicious because the ticket outlet was noticeably larger than before. You really have to admire their keen observation skills. It seems that choosing a spot students are too familiar with really isn't a good idea. The first half of the search continued. Although Kikuta's hiding spot was unexpected, he had to come up for air every 2 minutes, which was quite risky. Fortunately, he managed to escape danger once again. But Nakamura wasn't so lucky. Although his corner was quite hidden, many students would still instinctively lift the curtain to check. This time, he encountered a student who liked to get to the bottom of things. She knocked on the wall and discovered it was hollow. Realizing something was wrong, Nakamura inside knew.
Yeah, and this guy was so confident. Oh yeah, they're not gonna check this because it looks too familiar or whatever.
He was in trouble, and in the end, the prop wall was successfully opened by the girl. The first half isn't even over yet, and half of the prey have already been caught. It just goes to show that there's strength in numbers. Just when everyone thought the first half was settled, something happened on Kikuta's side. Thinking there were no hunters nearby, he was about to surface for air, only to find a group of students suddenly appearing behind him.
Yeah.
If you walk by the river often, how can you expect not to get your shoes wet? This time, he was caught red-handed. If only he had brought an oxygen tank.
Yeah, if he did that,
he
they would not have noticed him.
conventional spot. Yangbu, hiding under the hemp rope, and Chupen inside the desk, both managed to survive several rounds of inspections. Akiyama's spot is so remote that hardly anyone passes by, so he's still holding steady like an old pro. Just like that, the three of them finally made it through the first half. After a short break, the students resumed their search mode. They were still full of confidence and enthusiasm, searching every suspicious corner of the school. At Chupan's spot, students kept coming one after another, frequently lifting the lid of the machine, and Chupan inside was starting to sense trouble. At that moment, a few more students came in, and everyone started lifting the lid together in a flurry. They finally discovered Chupan under the table.
Of course they
It can only be
did.
said that his spot was just too popular. No matter how perfect the disguise, it couldn't withstand such a thorough search. Now, only Chiushan and Gangbu are still holding on. Can they make it to the end and win the grand prize? There were still very few people around Chiushan, and no one paid any attention to this seemingly ordinary wall. In contrast, Gangbu's spot was frequently visited by people, and some even stepped onto the frame, putting him in a very precarious situation. But the students never would have guessed that someone could actually hide inside the bundle of ropes. Time was running out, and the students were wandering around the school like headless chickens, having no clue where the prey were hiding. Just as time was about to run out, a group of students suddenly showed up near Chiushan. With more people, it was easier to slip up. And sure enough, a girl started examining the exhaust vent on the wall. To her surprise, she easily removed it. But by this time, the search period had already ended, which meant that Chushan was not eliminated. With a hint from the
he
team,
won.
The students also found the steel wool hidden in the hemp rope. It just goes to show how realistic his props were, managing to escape the notice of so many students. Congratulations to the two for winning this hide-and-seek challenge and receiving a 1 million reward.
God damn, people. I told you guys, their hide and seek is on a different level. From all I got is if something is too familiar with something or whatever, they will always question it. If you are looking suspicious, they will suspect you. But if you are perfectly blending in and literally we cannot even tell what's real and what's not, then you won, and in this game they won a lot of money. I'm telling you guys, whatever skills you guys think you got in hide and seek, they've got it better, because they even made a whole show about it. And hopefully in here, hopefully one day we'll get one of the same thing where we got, a whole show about hide and seek on that scale, for example. On that note, guys, don't forget to like your boys video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below what do you think about this whole hide and seek situation, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.